Joining me from Regina, Saskatchewan, Finance Minister Kevin Doherty, and in Toronto, Ontario, Finance Minister Charles Sousa. So first question to you, Mr. Sousa, is the main topic of the Finance Ministers' meeting on Sunday the Liberal government's call to expand the Canada Pension Plan?
Well, that'll be certainly a big topic of discussion. I think we're going to lead with an economic overview of the country and what the provinces are doing and what we must do to stimulate greater growth. CPP enhancement and retirement security generally will be a big part of that discussion going forward.
To get a deal on expanding the CPP, you need 2/3 of the province representing 2/3 of the population. Is it possible, and should it be done now with the economy in such a precarious state?
Our position is that now is not the time for any type of CPP enhancement. You know, we in Saskatchewan we're in a very challenging economy right now, given the oil situation. Certainly to the province to the west of us in Alberta, they're facing perhaps even a greater challenge with respect to the impact on their economy. I suggest Newfoundland and Labrador's in a similar type position. So right now, we don't think is the time for enhanced mandatory contributions, not only on individuals, but on our business community here in the province of Saskatchewan.
So, Mr. Sousa, what's your view on that?
In 2013, we as a council of ministers looked at enhancing CPP at a time when the economy was improving, when EI payments were coming off, so as to minimize the impact on businesses. But in Ontario, we have since moved on from that. We've done a lot of consultations, we've done a lot of overviews, we provided and identified a problem, and that is, in Ontario, there's about 60% of individuals do not have a workplace pension. And unless a universal system is enhanced sufficiently to support them, we're moving on a separate track, which is to provide an Ontario pension plan.
So, Mr. Doherty, the dollar is tanking, oil and gas sector is in shambles. Moves have been afoot to control a hot housing market, fears of a bubble in Toronto and Vancouver. What needs to be done at the federal and provincial levels to get jointly to get the economy moving again?
Well, I think what you heard from this Prime Minister and this newly elected national government is they campaigned quite vigorously across the country on a major national infrastructure program. We here in Saskatchewan are doing similarly. The Conference Board of Canada said just a couple of weeks ago, if it wasn't for the public sector investment, capital investment in the province of Saskatchewan right now, our economy with respect to capital investment would be flat or actually retrenching because of the oil and gas sector pulling back on their capital investment. So this is going to be a major topic of discussion with respect to Minister Morneau and our provincial counterparts with respect to the federal government rolling out their infrastructure program. We're very interested in that. We here in Saskatchewan have been quite adamant that we need to invest in infrastructure in the province, healthcare facilities, educational facilities, highways and infrastructure. And we're doing that here, and we're very anxious to see what the federal government is prepared to roll out.
How fast should Ottawa be moving on getting these money into these projects?
All of us recognize the importance of providing a national infrastructure strategy to enable us to become more competitive long term. In Ontario, we've already noted that we're going to invest $134 billion over the next 10 years. We've been doing so over the last number of years, which has enabled us to have a much better opportunity to create jobs, over 600,000 net new jobs since the recession, and enabling us to weather the conditions that we're experiencing right now much better. That's why we are now getting a bit greater growth than the rest of Canada, but we're sensitive to all of Canada being competitive, and it's absolutely imperative that the federal government act quickly to increase their overall spend and opportunity to provide for infrastructure spending, and in those priority projects that are already now underway. We've already qualified many, and we do look forward to a more collaborative approach with all levels of government to enact this in a more prescribed way.
Mr. Doherty, how concerned are you at the same time the government is going to be putting a significant amount of money out the door on infrastructure projects, what everybody agrees is necessary, but they're also going to be meeting with the premiers to bring in some kind of a price on carbon, and some people at least are concerned that this is going to actually, in initial steps with a weak economy, make it worse?
Well, we've expressed our concern about that, Bob. I think the Premier, our Premier, Premier Brad Wall, has been very clear with respect to a carbon tax. We're not looking at a carbon tax here in the province of Saskatchewan right now. I think if you look at from a carbon mitigation project, On a per capita basis, in the province of Saskatchewan, we've implemented a clean coal project down at our Boundary Dam 3 project in Estevan, Saskatchewan, carbon capture and sequestration. We're sequestering the CO2 into the ground for enhanced oil recovery with Cenovus Energy. At the same time, on a per capita basis, we've spent $1.5 billion on that project to actually mitigate carbon going into the atmosphere, to take carbon out of the atmosphere to the tune of the equivalent of 250,000 vehicles coming off the roads on any given year. So on a per capita basis, investing, it works out to about $1,400 per man, woman, and child in the province of Saskatchewan. We've promised to move to green energy, 50% of our energy to green energy by the year 2030. We're going to be continuing to work towards that goal. It's ambitious, but that's what we're committed to.
And Mr. Seuss, I want to ask you, first of all, finally, about a new healthcare accord, new funding. We know that Canada's system is very expensive, and a lot of indicators, whether it's wait times or other issues like that, we're not doing that well. So how do we get a more robust, cost-effective healthcare system?
All provinces have to deal with a greater degree of transformation with their healthcare in order to make it sustainable. In the province of Ontario, we now have the lowest growth in spending when it comes to healthcare, but it is the largest part of our budget. And we are looking at ways to have more home care, more delivery, without sacrificing the needs of individuals. And for that, we need to do some of those transformations. And part of infrastructure spending is around hospitals as well.
Here in the province of Saskatchewan, we've put aggressive targets in place with respect to reducing surgical wait times. We've put aggressive targets in place with respect to reducing emergency room wait times. We've thrown massive amounts of dollars at those particular two initiatives, and we've seen results with respect to surgical wait times coming down. And through innovation, additional dollars from the federal government absolutely helps. It's the largest expenditure any province has with respect to their provincial budget. So any additional dollars the federal government can provide would be very, very welcome. But I agree with you. We need to continue to find efficiencies. We need to continue to find innovation in the delivery of healthcare in each provincial jurisdiction.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and I hope the new Finance Minister, Mr. Morneau, feeds you well tonight.
Thanks very much, Bob, and I look forward to seeing you, Charles.
Looking forward to it, guys. Cheers.